Hello, it's Tom, editor of the Popcorn Muncher, and welcome once again to our YouTube channel. Now, today I'd like to talk to you about the issue of movie piracy and the cinema experience. It's something that's come up quite a lot recently. There was a discussion on the brilliant Wittertainment podcast on Radio 5 Live this week about the morality around piracy, sparked by an email about someone who'd seen I, Tonya on an illegal streaming service. And the discussion was about what the movie industry needs to do to make legality a more attractive option for consumers. My podcast co-host Luke Stevenson wrote an article for the Popcorn Muncher website about how cinemas could be in trouble if Netflix is successful in making its pivot away from expensive flops and failures and towards bona fide blockbuster hits. There was also the revelation this week that there could soon be a UK equivalent for the controversial Movie Pass initiative, which has been very popular in America. Over there, Movie Pass allows its customers to see as many movies as they want for a monthly fee. I think it amounts to around $100 a year, so less than a tenner a month. CPass, which was turned up online in the last sort of week or so, is hoping to be a UK alternative. Still quite a way off with that. No cinema chains have yet signed up, and the founder spoke this week to say the project is very much in its infancy and people are getting a bit overexcited. But all of this got me thinking about the multiplex and what it needs to do in order to survive. The current cinema experience is simultaneously beautiful and terrible. I like to see as many films as I can on the big screen, and for me that is absolutely the best way to consume the medium. After all, 99% of movies are made with the intention of being seen in a massive auditorium with an enormous screen and a booming sound system. When I finish recording this video, I'm going to sit in my living room to watch Annihilation, which is a high-concept, mid-budget sci-fi movie featuring A-list stars and directed by an exciting filmmaker in Alex Garland, whose last movie, Ex Machina, won an Oscar for its visual effects. A movie like that is made for the big screen. It's deeply sad that my only option as a British film fan is to watch it via Netflix. However, at the same time, I have to acknowledge that far more people will see the movie this way. Watching a Netflix film is risk-free. You already pay your monthly subscription, so there's no financial risk to taking a chance on a film that's slightly out of your comfort zone, which for many people, Annihilation will be. It's a film that likely would not have captured the casual audience in the cinemas, seeing as the ideal market, adult cinema goers, would likely have to pay for babysitters, travel to the cinema, pay at least £15 for a pair of tickets, shell out almost the same again in popcorn, drinks and pick and mix, watch nearly half an hour of adverts for cars and trailers for superhero movies, and then finally commit 2 hours to watching the film. That is a hell of a commitment. And that's before you get to the cinemas themselves. Most of today's cinema chains don't have ushers attached to each screening, which creates a somewhat lawless atmosphere inside the auditoriums. It's common for people to spend almost the entire movie on their phones, sending snarky WhatsApp messages about the film, or trying to level up on Candy Crush, filling the room with blinding light in the process. And that's before you get to people talking loudly, kicking seats, or turning up 20 minutes late and then blasting the torch on their phone at every row in turn in order to find their allocated seat. That's the other problem with ushers not being there. No one knows where they're supposed to sit. And then when the film starts, it's often presented very poorly. The death of the projectionist has really hurt the cinema experience. I was forced to watch Dunkirk last year on a dim, flickering screen the first time I saw it. I recently watched the new Insidious film with the house lights so high that I could have got out a Harry Potter book if I'd wanted to. And then, just before Christmas, I went to see The Disaster Artist. They initially started playing Daddy's Home 2 once the trailers had finished, and then, when this mistake was finally corrected, the film was projected terribly, spilling out over the sides of the screen. If the goal was to pay a tribute to the incompetence of Tommy Wiseau, they succeeded. With all of that in mind, it's perfectly understandable that some people want to watch movies at home. And this is where the onus shifts to an industry that's in desperate need of modernisation. Since the advent of Spotify, music piracy has fallen to a record low, and the same is beginning to happen to movies, with Netflix and Amazon Prime out there. If you want to watch any movie that's been released up until about a year ago, it's pretty easy to do it legally without having to leave your living room or even get up off your sofa. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime and Sky Cinema have extensive back catalogues of movies available via their subscriptions. And most major movies can also be rented through Amazon Instant Video or a similar service in HD quality for less than a fiver a pop. With all of that in place, there is no need to access these films illegally. The problem comes with films that are currently in cinemas or that have recently left and are waiting for their home release. The popularity of illegally altered Kodi boxes and the undefeatable hydra of torrent sites, i.e., if you shut one down, two more grow in its place, means anyone can watch a new release for free and without paying a penny in the comfort of their own homes. We've just left awards season, which creates a bizarre environment for film fans, in which they are being hyped and hearing buzz for movies they can't watch. These awards contenders often play at festivals early in the year and receive small releases to qualify for the awards, only expanding widely much later, if at all. In December, Sean Baker, the director of award season player The Florida Project, tweeted about online speculation surrounding when the movie would leak onto piracy sites, urging fans not to do this. As a creator, his tweet is understandable, but a scroll through the replies reveals a galaxy of differing motivations. Some complain about the unaffordable nature of cinemas, others point out that international release dates can often keep them away from these films for over a year. Now, this is clearly a problem and something the cinema world needs to address. Not everyone likes the cinema experience or has the opportunity to see certain films, and for some movies that can mean an agonising wait. Growing up in Coventry in the West Midlands, I was nowhere near an independent cinema, and so it was almost impossible for me to see anything even remotely quirky in nature on a big screen. I'm still yet to see Bong Joon-ho's widely praised Snowpiercer, because despite major buzz all over the world and a forthcoming tie-in TV series, it has never been released in the UK. It is only available via piracy, region shifting through a platform like Netflix, or via a hugely expensive DVD Blu-ray import. Now compare that to Ben Wheatley's A Field in England, which is a brilliant film that was released back in 2013. It was a tiny indie with a very niche audience, and as a mark of that, it was released simultaneously on the same day into cinemas, on DVD, on VOD platforms, and on the free-to-air TV channel Film 4. Almost no one would have seen A Field in England pop up in their local multiplex, but this way, everyone who wanted to see it could do so legitimately and for a reasonable price. Now, obviously, a model like that won't work for every movie, but it's an innovative approach that for certain films feels like it could be the future. I'm still a massive proponent of the cinema experience. I want to see every film that I possibly can on a huge screen. And indeed, that experience is still massively popular. Black Panther has just smashed box office records, and the incredible multiplex staying power of The Greatest Showman is testament to the remaining popularity of the cinema. That experience is thankfully not going anywhere. However, I acknowledge that for some, the cinema is a miserable place that represents only hassle, overinflated prices, and a film that's ultimately badly projected in a noisy theatre full of smartphone-induced light pollution. I have sympathy for that argument, and for those people, the movie industry needs to find a smart, reasonably priced solution that proves to be a better alternative than piracy. The options are there. The simultaneous release of A Field in England presented one option. Another is for streaming customers to pay a top-up fee in order to watch new films legally and in the comfort of their own homes. Another would be for cinemas to simply lower their prices while making the experience better for consumers. Something has got to give because, as it stands, boarding the pirate ship is often the most attractive and convenient option. But what do you think? Let me know how you feel about the issue of piracy and the issue of the cinema experience. Do you still value going to the multiplex to see movies that way? Would you like to see them at home? Let me know in the comments section. Be sure to subscribe to the Popcorn Muncher channel, leave a like and a comment on this video. Also head over to thepopcornmuncher.com where you can read that article by Luke I mentioned earlier, as well as listening to our podcast and seeing all of my reviews of the most recent releases. I'll also stick in the description our social media channels, so please do follow us on all of those platforms, say hi, and let me know what you think of this video. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. I'm off to watch Annihilation.